Okay. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, fasten your seatbelts, hold on tight. Going for one crazy, epically cool, and amazing ride down the Josh Nolan Full Throttle Racing Show. Hashtag one on YouTube. Tonight we have with us racing superstar Chris Mcginnis. Welcome to the show, Chris.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So, Chris, how did you get started in racing?
Well, I couldn't help it. I was born into it. My mom actually went into labor with me at the racetrack here locally and at the All-American Speedway in Roseville, and been going ever since. So, my uncles raced growing up, family all raced. So I couldn't get away from it. I was born into it and been part of it ever since.
Okay, so when you first got into your race car for the first time, what was that experience like for you?
It was pretty cool, because growing up watching my uncles race, I was one to do it and everything. And then, getting a chance to go out there and to do it, to get behind the wheel and experience going down the front straightaway and just kind of, it was like a surreal moment, and it was pretty cool, it was cool to live out, a dream of mine. So, and, I keep doing it every weekend. So.
Okay, so what class did you start out in, Chris?
I started out in the bomber division at the All-American Speedway, which was, at that time, it was basically stock stuff. Like, my first car was an old cop car. So it was a 74 Dodge Monaco, old cop car. Had a really good suspension on it because it was an old cop car. But literally, you knock the windows out of it, put a cage in it, put a fuel cell in it, a racing seat, 5-point harness, and you go racing. So, come a long ways from the stock stuff, but it was still pretty fun.
So, about how long before you moved into a late model?
It was quite a long time. So I didn't start running late models really until probably 4 or 5 years ago. Um, I ran when I was a kid. I ran bombers growing up, and I just got to the point where I couldn't afford it, so I just started working on cars and kind of, it's how I learned a lot of stuff. Working on different race cars and race teams, and just kind of learning how to do different things, setting cars up and stuff like that. So I didn't go back racing again myself until 2012, and then I just kind of worked my way up, and then now I got the late model. So yeah.
Okay, so how much success have you had as a race car driver?
As a driver, not a whole lot, because I haven't got a chance to race a ton. We only get to run about 10 times a year. That's what our division is. And so we don't get to race a whole lot, and last year I had some unfortunate crash. It tore the rear clip off the back of the car, and it put us out for the year after only 4 races. And then the year before that, we had some issues, but we were able to get 5 or 6 races out of the 8 or 9 that we were able to run. So it's been kind of an up and down deal. I've had more success working on cars and working on teams than I have as a driver.
Okay, so your late model, is that an outlaw type late model, or or is it a limited late model?
You know what I mean? So you're gonna show you.
It's what's considered a limited late model. So it's the chassis is exactly the same as the outlaw, World Outlaw Lucas Oil cars. Shocks are the same. Everything really, the biggest difference is our engines are not near as big. We run a steel block, steel head, 406 maximum cubic inch rule, and right now we're on a 2-barrel, but they're looking to maybe go to a 4-barrel to open it up a little bit more, maybe get a few more cars. So it's more of a limited deal, but I would love to be able to move up and run with the big boys, but obviously it takes a lot of money.
So what's it like to drive a late model?
It's it's like jumping on the back of a bull that has 600 horsepower and you hold on. It's sometimes it can buck you off, and sometimes you just hold on and ride it for 80 seconds. So it's pretty fun. It's pretty fun.
Okay, so what is your home racetrack you race on?
We raced up at the Placerville Speedway in Placerville, California. They formerly known as Hangtown Speedway. Well, some people call it Knoxville on the Hill. A lot of really good race car drivers have come from it. Kyle Larson came from there. Buddy Colfoy came from around here. Brad Sweet grew up here racing. So we've had a lot of really cool big name guys that that's moved on and done really cool things from that track.
Okay, so what is your favorite racetrack you've ever raced on?
Um, I like the Silver Dollar Speedway. I really do. It's a nice wide track. Um, Unfortunately, we don't get our division doesn't run there anymore. They used to. I'd love to get back there. It's a fun track, not very far from home. That's probably my favorite track I've ran on. I haven't gotten a wide variety of tracks. I've only ran on a few tracks, just because our division really isn't super popular in California. California is more of a sprint car state when it comes to dirt racing. So, with the dirt late models, we don't have a whole lot of tracks to choose from to run on. But I think Silver Dollar is probably one of my favorites. I love Placerville. I drive an hour and a half each way to go run Placerville because I like it. So, yeah.
Okay, so how do you celebrate your victories?
Um, Well, it all depends, man. There's been times where we celebrated with sitting out in the parking lot of Taco Bell and having a Coors Light and some tacos, and there's sometimes we just go home, take a shower, and go to bed. So it all depends on how we feel at the end of the night, really.
So what's an awesome day at the racetrack look like for you then?
You know what? Awesome day at the racetrack is like showing up with my wife and my kids. I got two daughters. I got my wife, and in fact, we were all together this last weekend. And my father-in-law got to come to the races, and it was an awesome day. Anytime I could have my family with me to share that experience, that's what makes it an awesome day. It doesn't matter where we finish. We broken up our control arm this last weekend, got her fixed, got her back on the track for the main event. Still had a great day because everybody was there and we had a lot of fun.
So what's an awesome day at the racetrack look like for you then?
What's that?
What's an awesome day at the race shop look like for you then?
At the race shop, just hanging out, really. I think the best time I have at the race shop is whenever we unload on Sundays, we get everything cleaned up and get the car up on the lift, and me and my wife just kick back and we'll have a Coors Light and maybe watch some NASCAR or whatever racing's on TV.
Okay, so who is your racing hero? Who do you look up to as a race car driver?
Oh man, I always looked up to every family member that I had that raced. I had my uncle Ed Mcginnis. He drove super late models on asphalt, so I really looked up to him. He always had really nice stuff and did awesome in it. And then I had my uncle Jim Mcginnis, who he didn't always have the most money in his cars, but he was really smart on how he did things, and he was always fast with it. And I learned a lot from him as well. And so I look at those two as like my idols growing up, in as far as racing goes, because I got to see how each one did it their way, and they were successful at it. And I just always try to implement what they did in my racing and try to do the best I can.
Okay, so alrighty. So are you pretty good about reading the racetrack?
About what?
Are you pretty good about reading the racetrack?
Um, I've done okay so far. I can usually tell whenever the track's going to dry out pretty quick. There's sometimes though, in the heat race it can be super wet, and then the sprint cars will go out for their heat races, and then they'll have a B main before our feature, and then the track will go super dry, and I don't expect it. And then there's some times where the track doesn't go dry, and that's kind of, I kind of read it, kind of see, how it looks and everything, and how it's, shaping up for the night. Most of the time I do pretty good, but there's sometimes it'll throw me for a loop.
Okay, so what's your favorite type of racetrack to race on? A wet, heavy track, a dry, dusty track, or right in the center?
I don't know, man. It's them wet heavy tracks, they're fun because when you have a lot of horsepower, they're a lot of fun to play on. But also those dry slick tracks, it takes a lot of finesse to be able to go fast and how to set your car up and to work your way through traffic, and that's always kind of fun too. And my background being in asphalt, you almost have to drive that dry slick track kind of like asphalt, easy in, kind of easy off. And I like both really. So I guess maybe in the middle is kind of my thing. If I have a nice, tacky track on the bottom and some slickness up top, I can work both ways.
Okay, so who's all on your racing crew?
You know, we got a small crew. It's me and my wife every weekend. Me and my wife every weekend. We go to the races, and that's our team really. My daughter Kelly gets to go with us for the most part, and she helps out. She's our mud scraper, and so she'll help out a little bit. But mainly, it's just me and my wife that maintains the car, works on the car, and go to the races.
So what's your
So
favorite job
we
working
got a
on your
small
race car?
crew.
What's your favorite job working on your race car?
I don't know if I have a favorite job. I really don't know. I guess just getting it ready. I like making it look good. The way I look at it is sponsors want to see a car that looks good. So I like making sure that it looks good and cleaning it up and, making it look good, when we get to the track.
Okay, so all right. So, okay, when you're strapped in your race car and get ready to go out on the racetrack, what helps get you psyched up and motivated to go out and do this?
I really don't get psyched up. Whenever I'm sitting in the driver's seat, I just start thinking about it like, let's go out, let's have a good night, let's have fun. That's the most important thing is having fun. And then I just kind of tell myself, like, remember, you got to load this thing up at the end of the night and I got to pay for it. So let's not take stupid chances.
Yeah.
Let's, run a smart race and see where we end up. We're not going to always win every night, but let's do it the right way.
Okay, so what is the story behind your racing number then?
So my race number, me, my cousin Mario, and a buddy of mine, Mark, we had a late model that on asphalt that we ran around Northern California, and over a 2-year period of time, we won 22 out of 24 races, and they were all 100-lap big money races that we ran, and we won 22 out of 24 of those races, and that was the number 22 was the number we ran on that car. And I figured, you know what, maybe it'll bring me some luck myself. So I put 22 in my car, and that's the number I've ran for since 2012. I think there was 1 year I didn't run the number. I wanted to do a 115 for Kenny Tremont. He was always my favorite big block driver on the east, upper East Coast. And so I did 115 a couple years ago just because I really liked him. But every other year, it's always been 22.
Okay, so who do you have for sponsors on your racing team?
So my biggest sponsors are Economy Heating and Air. They're out of Roseville, California. If anybody needs economy heating and air, give them a call at 916-410-8477. They do a great job. Let them know Mcginnis Motorsports sent you. Also, we have Cindy Silva Realty Group. She's out of Rockland, California. She's one of the top real estate agents in Northern California. And she constantly, I see every week, 3 or 4 houses either closing or getting sold from her. So she's great. We have Americoat powder coating. Willie Croft, he took care of my powder coating this year. We got the seat powder coated, looks great. And we have Swift Springs that came on board this year, helped us out with some springs to get us up front. So that was really cool. We have ML Performance, Matt Logan out of North Carolina. He's done a lot of shocks for a lot of big name guys, and I met him at the Dome this last December. and struck up a good relationship with them. And he's been doing our shocks for this year. So that's really cool. We have Pacific Highway Rentals. They do a lot of the construction sites on the highways, the crash attenuator trucks, the cone trucks, arrow boards, message boards, stuff like that. That's what they do. They came on board this year, helped us out, and that was really appreciative. We got Willie's Carburetor on board, helping us out a little bit this year. Big Dog Transport, which my cousin Mario, he helps out whenever he can to do with it, whatever is needed. Mcginnis race car bodies. I build race car bodies for a lot of my competitors, so we always have that one on board as well. And PPM Race Products, they came on board this year, Team PPM, so that was really cool of them. I got to meet Hunter Kennedy and everybody over at the Dome in December. Struck up a good relationship with those guys, and so we're pretty happy with all those sponsors. We got David's Race Products that helped us out when we crashed the car last year. He took care of us whenever it come time to get it fixed, and did a great job, and treated us real well with the price, and so got us to be able to get back. So Mike David over in Salida, California, he takes care of a lot of racers and really good dude. But yeah, so we got some good people on board this year. We're real fortunate, and hopefully we can get them in victory lane real soon.
Are you still looking for more sponsors for your racing team?
We are always looking for more sponsors. I would love to represent more companies, and I will do everything in my power to make sure that any company that comes on board, I will make sure that we do anything and everything we can to get them more business. That's just kind of the way we do things. It's another reason why I'm on your show tonight. And we do as and meet and greets, taking the car to events or whatever it may be. I'll do it, man. And sponsorships is what help us keep going to the races every weekend. So absolutely, we're always looking for more sponsors.
Okay, so if there's anybody going to be out here watching this racing show, reach out to Chris Mcginnis and his racing team, because they'd appreciate the sponsorship on Chris's race cars he gets for the racing career.
Yeah. So if anybody wants to come out, and help sponsor or whatever, you can reach out to me at tirechanger18 at AOL.com. You can always Mcginnis on Facebook as well, your business.
Okay, so all right. So what do you like to do for fun away from the racetrack?
Usually if we're not racing, we're just kind of chilling at home, really. We work a lot. Me and my wife work a lot. We put in a lot of hours during the week. And if we're not racing, we're usually kind of relaxing. Sometimes we'll take a trip. Like I said, we went to the Dome in December and got to go watch some racing there. I think we want to do a Mardi Gras coming up, and so we'll go do some trips there once in a while. But for the main part, we just kind of chill at home and relax, and maybe we'll go out to dinner or something on a weekend or something like that.
Okay, so do you have a racing nickname?
I think the only nickname I really have is C-Mac. Everybody calls me C-Mac. So my uncle was always called Mac. My grandpa was called Mac. So people call me C-Mac. I'm okay with that. I'm good with it.
Okay, so do you have any crazy racing stories you'd like to share with us about your racing career?
Stories. I got one, though. Back in, I think it was 2012. It was toward the end of the year. I had a buddy of mine. He really wanted to get back on the track. It'd been a few years since he'd been in a race car. And he goes, "Hey, man, can I drive your car?" And I'm like, "Yeah, not a problem." He's won races and championships, not a problem. I trust him. So I had another guy coming out, and he was looking to maybe buy my car because I wanted to move up. And I'm like, "Yeah, come out, watch it. I got the acid and everything." And he's like, "All right, cool." So he comes out and he's watching. And first lap of the main event, he gets turned and kind of knocks the nose sideways a little bit. Come in, check it out, send him back out. So he gets going again racing, and the hood pins actually sheared on the front of the hood, and the hood flew up. So he's trying to get in the infield. to get away from the racing. It hits a tractor tire and destroys the whole front of the car.
Oh
And
boy.
so the guy looked at the guy that was looking to buy the car, and he's like, you selling it any cheaper? I said, nope. He goes, well, I don't think I'm gonna be able to buy it. I said, not a problem. So I ever since the infield tractor tire came on Facebook, I always tease my buddy. I'm like, hey man, this is your Facebook page right here, bud. So yeah, that's probably the craziest story I got from my racing. But yeah, it was funny, I just put it back together and went back the next year. So it's kind of how it goes.
So do you have any big racing events you're looking forward to racing in this year?
This year, we're just running the normal point schedule for Placerville Speedway. We got 4th, July 12th, August 2nd. August 2nd is kind of a good one. It's the Carnet Clash. Brian Carnet was a huge supporter up at the Placerville Speedway, and he died a few years ago, and his son always puts on the Carnet Clash, and so we're always look forward to that one. And then we have, I think, our final race is September 13th, and then after that, we might travel a little bit. There's a couple races down in Antioch, California. We might go run with the Extreme Late Model Series down there, and maybe up at Marysville Speedway. In Marysville, California, we might run the Taxi Cab Open, they call it. It's a kind of an open show for all the stock car guys in October. So we might be able to go do that one as well. I haven't always had the best of luck in Marysville, but I need to change that. So I need to conquer that place. But yeah, I think those are the shows we're probably going to end up running at the end of the year.
Okay. So what is your favorite job about being a race car driver?
My favorite job about it?
No, I'm sorry about that, Chris. What's your favorite thing about being a race car driver?
Oh, favorite thing about being, I love interacting with the fans, especially the kids, because I was that little kid whenever I was young, that wanted to go talk to the driver and check out the race car and get an autograph or a picture or whatever, And so anytime the kids come up and they want to check out the car, I'd lift them up inside the car. That way they can sit in the driver's seat and check it out. Because you never know, those kids might grow up and want to be that race car driver, and that's our next generation of racers, So I love interacting with the fans. It's always fun, and I always try to give out stickers to them or whatever I can to entice them to do it, and so that's probably my favorite thing about it.
Okay. So do you have any advice out there for the kids coming up in the racing world?
Take it slow. I've seen kids that where the parents will push them, and where the kid really isn't enthused about the racing, like they want to do it, but then when they start getting pushed into it, I feel like it kind of the fun goes away, right? So take it slow. Don't move up any faster than you absolutely have to, and have fun. That's what it's all about, is having fun, right? So if you can go out and have fun, and it doesn't matter what you're racing, just go have fun. You're going to move up, and if you're good, you're going to move up fast, right? So just go have fun. That's the biggest thing you can do. Enjoy it.
Okay. So is there anybody else you'd like to thank for helping you get this far with your racing career?
The person I got to thank the most is my wife, Tiana. She is a huge supporter of my racing, and she gives up a lot of her time so we can go racing. And I couldn't do without her. Honestly, I couldn't. I don't know how I did it before I met her, and I don't know how I could do it if she wasn't here, So my wife, Tiana, is a huge supporter, and I couldn't do anything without her, I got a lot of people that's helped me get here. My cousin Mario, my cousin David, they've helped me tremendously with teaching me different things. My uncles, for show me the way, show me how to get here, and show me how to do it the right way. There's so many people I can't even think of all of them, but there's a lot of people that's helped me get to the point where I'm at today, and has taught me a lot, whether it's driving or working on car setups, whatever it may be. There's a lot of people that's taught me a lot of good things, and I can't thank them all enough.
Okay. So alrighty. So what is your What is your big plan with racing? Where do you want to go with your racing career?
Oh man, honestly, I would hope that one day I could be able to run a Lucas Oil event. I would love to run a Lucas Oil late model just one time. It's for me, it's just about going and doing it. I really like going to the dome and being able to see some of those guys that run locally. They get to run with all those big guys at the dome. That gave me a lot of inspiration on like, hey, I can do this. And so if I could ever get the chance to run one time with those guys, just to say I did it, that would be huge. I know I don't have the budget for something like that, but if somebody ever gave me a chance to drive their car to do it, I would take it in a heartbeat and I would do the best I could with what I have.
Okay. So, at this portion of the racing show, okay, before I go that far, do you have a racing page the racing fans can follow you on?
Yeah, Mcginnis Motorsports on Facebook. That's where I post most of my stuff at, whenever it comes to the race season. We're trying to get the YouTube up and going. I'm not the best at editing videos, but I got a friend of mine who does a really good job. So we're gonna get the videos up there from all of our racing on our YouTube. But that'll be I'll post a link on my Mcginnis Motorsports page. That way everybody can check those out as well. But yeah, Mcginnis Motorsports on Facebook. You could check out Chris Mcginnis on Facebook, and yeah, we'll be on there. Posting updates. We also have T-shirts for the year. They're $20. You can get the link and everything right there, and get them sent out to you. So yeah, everybody can check it out there.
Okay, so good. Go ahead, hold it. McGinnis Motorsports on Facebook, or Chris McGinnis on Facebook, and eventually follow his YouTube channel also. So I'm at the portion of the racing show now, Chris, where I turn the mic over to you. If you have a couple questions you'd like to ask me, you can ask me a couple questions.
Yeah, you know what? How did you get into racing, and what is it that inspires you with racing?
I got into racing when I was like 6 years old. That was like the sport I gravitated towards most.
46 now.
And I'm 46 now. So yeah, 45, sorry. Yeah. But
Well, for that one.
but then also what inspired you to get into racing or to do this racing show? It's just I've had a passion to work in the racing industry someplace, somewhere.
Right on. It's in all of our blood. It's just a matter if we find it. That's the way I look at it. I really feel like if you take somebody who's never been to the races and you take them out to the races, they're gonna realize it's in their blood and they love it. You know what I mean? So yeah, no, it doesn't surprise me at all.
No, because we're gonna turn all that stuff off.
So okay. Okay. One last question, Chris. Before I let you go tonight,
Okay.
could you fire up your race car so we can hear it?
Yeah.
Let me try it out. Let me see if I can get it fired up.
Not doing.
Okay.
She's a little cold blooded. She runs on methanol, so she doesn't like to start when it's cold.
Okay. But I'd like to thank you for being on our racing show tonight, Chris, talking to us about your racing career, getting to know you a little bit better. I will have you step out and I will call you in just a little bit to thank you, okay?
Awesome, man. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was Chris Mcginnis on our racing show from the state of California. So go hit up McGinnis Motorsports or Chris McGinnis on Facebook. Both those pages are on Facebook. But no real racing news tonight except for Buddy Kofoid picked up the Houston Speedway High Bank National out there. So congratulations to Buddy Kofoid. But if you'd like to racing show or be on our racing show, feel free to call us or text us at 712-209-7138, or you can email us at jjnolan151@gmail.com.